Welcome to my first podcast. I am so grateful to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. Right, here we are, first podcast. When I was planning what to cover in the first one, it was so hard to choose. I mean, we're all looking for help or some kind of magic pill, the thing that will make us happy, the thing that will fix us. But guess what? You are not broken. Here I go, starting with the big stuff first. But I just don't think we hear this enough, or even trust it when we do hear it. We are all so busy being busy, trying to be successful and achieve more, including happiness. And I hear women all the time saying things like, oh, I'll be happy when I get that one thing, whatever it is, done, or when I get healthy, or when I fix myself, or when I regulate myself. All the buzzwords, right? But ladies, there is nothing to fix. You are not broken. You have everything you need already within you. And what I do know from experience, both my personal and as a coach, you just haven't been taught or supported to trust that intuition or knowledge that you already have. Okay, before I get carried away, let me get back on track. Where to start? Well, anywhere that we want to create a change. In fact, as human beings, where we need to start is with the two basic human choices, either love or fear. And the reason why we start with love and fear is because our self-worth and our fears are like yin and yang, male and female. They're the two things that are so powerful that create the results in our life. And so we are so conditioned to build fear over our self-worth or self-love. I mean, I think about being at school all that long time ago. And when I was at school, if I had turned around to the school bullies and said, well, I don't care what you say because I love myself, I would have been beaten up and humiliated for sure. It's all about our self-worth, our worthiness, where we feel worthy to be in this world, on this planet. We feel that our work is worthy, that we're worthy in our relationships. We feel valued and appreciated. That is what's important. And fear is actually anything that is stopping us. It's anything that is stopping us from getting the results, from having the worthiness feeling, the feeling valued and appreciated. It's fear stopping us. Absolutely, 100%, without a doubt, I believe this. I'm talking about the actual human being. We can create anything we want to create on this planet. And there is so much evidence of this. So if we don't have it, it means that we have fear around that thing, which is blocking us somewhere, somehow. Okay, so you may have guessed, but the first episode, we are starting with fear. I'm going to give you a little bit more of a rundown, like how do we know that we're operating from fear? How do we know that we're afraid of something? Well, there's the obvious stuff, like you're afraid of snakes or a fear of heights, or that, I don't know, the really obvious stuff like that. However, the fear that is more destructive is the ones that we don't know. The things that perhaps are stopping us. Have you ever noticed that? You might notice a while after the track and there's something that you didn't even know you were scared about that until, I don't know, you wake up one day or you're really thinking about it, or maybe you're starting journaling and you're, crap, I had no idea I was actually scared of that. So an example of one that's an absolute classic is that you're in a job and you do the same sort of things day in and day out. You know that job. You know what you need to do. You can do it in your sleep. And so you find that you either leave everything to the last minute to just get it in on deadline, or you get caught up in gossip and you do these things that really are just, you do these things that are, or say these things that are really just not aligned to who you really are. This is fear. That is a great demonstration or example of fear. It's playing out in you because of a belief that you have. There's some part of you that wants to hold you back because fear takes care of the ego, and the ego doesn't want change. I recently heard a mentor say, this is because to the ego, change equals death. Right? So obviously it doesn't want to die. It doesn't want to not exist. It doesn't want to not be listened to. So it keeps bringing up this feeling of fear. Now, fear can run below the radar. So again, I said before, have you ever noticed it? Well, sometimes you never do. Sometimes you're not sure. You go through your whole life and you wonder, what is it? What is it that's held me back? I said I wanted those things and it didn't happen. It didn't come true. And that is because fear sometimes sits under the radar where we're not aware of it, where we don't notice it or realize what is actually happening. It's not like your body saying, hey, woohoo, over here, I'm scared. It just doesn't happen like that. So there are 3 basic human fears. I don't know if you've heard about this before, but there is the fear of not being loved, the fear of not being good enough, and the fear of not belonging. I'll say that again. The fear of not being loved, the fear of not being good enough, and the fear of not belonging. I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure, I know for sure, I have struggled at some point in my life with all 3 of those. I don't know about you, but I definitely have. So when people say, oh, look, yeah, I'm afraid of failure, or actually, no, they actually will say to me, I, I don't know what's going on. I think I'm scared of failing. I like, who wants to fail? Well, when we start to really dig deeper into that and we ask questions about this, we tend to find that it comes down to the person believing that I'm just not good enough. So it's not even about the failure. They're kind of already preempting that, right? It actually comes down to them just believing, having that belief that they're not good enough. Whether it's actually true or not, whether they've got any evidence of that or not, that's what it comes down to. They believe that they are not good enough. Now, get this, for all the coaches that I have spoken with over the years, and myself with any experience I've had as a coach, and again, when I think about my own personal experience, the belief of not being good enough would come up for, I don't know, at least 80% of the people that we work with as coaches. 80%. That's huge. To know that so many people are suffering from this belief, I'm not good enough. It makes me so sad and I guess really concerned, because we're just bringing up more people, more beautiful human beings we're bringing into this world, and we're going to pass that belief on. And look, and if I'm honest with you, which I will always be, this has been a problem for me too. My friends and my family will be absolutely shocked when they hear this, when they listen to this first podcast, and you better believe they will be listening. But it's so true. I have definitely had times, long periods of time, where I have struggled with this belief. It's absolutely true. I'm not good enough has been attached to my identity for many, many years. And even now, I have to consciously go, whoa, hang on a second, Frances. That's definitely the fear of not being good enough. So come on, you can let go of that. It's not true. What is it blocking? What am I afraid is going to happen here? And they're the sorts of questions I ask myself when it comes up. But it's taken a lot of work for me to actually realize that that's what's going on for me. So all of our fears will come down to one of those three: the fear of not being loved, the fear of not being good enough, or the fear of not belonging. Now, I do also hear some people say, oh, I don't really think I'm afraid of anything. I don't think I'm afraid of not belonging. I don't need anyone. Which that is kind of the classic statement of someone who is afraid of not belonging. Because when you create isolation around you, it means that you can't upset anyone. You can't underdeliver on people's expectations. You can't get it wrong. You can't upset people. So what you do is you actually build into this identity that you're strong and independent and you can do anything that you want to do. FYI, that was me. And that's where my friends and family are going to be going, oh, yes, Frances, that is you, or that has been you. I recently asked people, can you list out 5 words that you think of when, you think of me, or that you would think of me that would describe me. And strong and independent came up for sure. And years ago, I would have been super proud of that. But it's because I built up this identity that I didn't want or need anyone, because then there wouldn't be a problem around their expectations of me. That's big to say. All right. Look, the truth is you're actually really afraid of being rejected to the group. If you're feeling this way, that is what's happening. You're really afraid of being rejected to the group. So if you never make the effort to become part of the group, then you will never have to risk being rejected. So you try and control all the situations to avoid this. Again, that was me. I'm only laughing because it feels really awkward sitting here telling you this. All right, let's move on. Another classic example is perfectionism. Oh, the amount of women I hear say, yeah, but, oh, that's just because I'm a perfectionist. Perfectionism is the most paralyzing form of self-abuse. I can't remember who wrote that quote, but I really felt it when I saw it a while ago. Perfectionism is the most paralyzing form of self-abuse. Another one is perfectionism is a serial killer, and it's a killer of dreams because there is no such thing as perfect. There really isn't. We must start to let ourselves let go of the fear of getting it wrong and not being good enough. Okay, you're probably thinking, okay, Frances, you've pointed out that I'm afraid. So what do I do? Tell me what to do. Well, I can't tell you what to do, but you're probably not going to jump for joy when I say this. But one of the best things that you can do is to make friends with it. Yep, make friends with fear. Have I lost you yet? Okay, well, look, if you're still here, which I really hope you are, what do I mean by making friends with fear? Well, as long as we let fear stop us, we're not friends with it. When I say make friends with it, it starts to lose its power. It loses its hold over us. So when you notice that you're afraid of something, then it's really important that you consciously choose to push yourself outside of your comfort zone and get really, really curious about what is driving that fear. What am I afraid would happen? And then again, what am I afraid would happen if that happened? So let's say I have a fear of heights, which I do, or did, or do. I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't really decided. I'd like to say or did. It's one of the fears I work on when I get an opportunity. I like to do it alone though, but that's another conversation for another podcast. Now, something really important to know about fear is a man-made thing. Fear only exists in the future or in the past, never in the now. So when you are in the situation where you are doing the thing, the fear doesn't exist. It's not real. It's just a construct in our head. So it's super important that you know this, because what's controlling you, how the fear controls you, is the stories that you tell yourself about what happened in the past or what could possibly happen in the future, which hasn't even happened. The thing is, once you get out there, you realize how much life there is that you want to live. You realize how good it is and how much you've been just holding on that handbrake. So it's time for you to make friends with fear. Because when you make friends with fear, there isn't consistent. When you make friends with fear, there isn't there is this consistent growth, sorry, but there's not the growth in the fear. There's growth in you, and there's growth in your self-worth. And it becomes so, so, so strong. And it continues to grow. It doesn't just stop there. Imagine if you weren't afraid. Okay, here are some more things to consider with fear. Identify the fear. So the understanding the source and nature of your fear is the very first step. Ask yourself what exactly you're afraid of and why. Then you can face your fear. Once you've identified your fear, try to face it gradually. It doesn't have to be a big, gigantic leap. We don't always have to make these big, bold moves. 1% every day. You compound that over a year, it's huge growth. So try to face it gradually. Start with small steps and work your way up to more challenging situations. This can help you build confidence and reduce anxiety. It can reduce your anxiety. Okay, practice relaxation techniques. Fear can trigger physical responses such as the increased heart rate, sweating, and muscle tension. And when these things happen, our brain kicks in, this wonderful brain that we have, it kicks in and it says, oh my God, there must be something wrong. Stop. But if we do that every single time, we're not living life. We're not seeing all of the amazing things that are out there. So practice relaxation techniques. There's so many resources available to you, ladies. There is deep breathing, meditation, yoga. All of these can help you manage these physical symptoms, which again can help reduce the overall anxiety. You can seek support. Talk to a trusted friend or family member about your fear. Or, hey, you may want to also get a coach, or maybe it's a counselor, but find someone that you can trust who can help you uncover the real fear and belief. A lot of the time, it's a belief that hasn't even happened. Another great thing you can do is reframe your thoughts. So sometimes fear can be fueled by negative self-talk, or again, these limiting beliefs that we have. Try to reframe your thoughts and focus on positive outcomes or possibilities. So, for example, instead of thinking, I'm going to fail, think, I will do my best and I'll learn from the experience. Okay, deep breath. I'm going to stop right there. That is a lot. That probably got a lot heavier than I expected to go in my very first podcast. I can guarantee you these are not always going to be heavy. But we had to start somewhere that was about creating change, because change is constant. We can't avoid it. Sometimes we actually want to create it. We want to be the initiator. So how can we do it in a way that we feel we've got some level of safety? And that's what I want to try and give you. So today we've dug in deep, we've gone straight to fear. They won't always be so heavy. Okay, today was a lot. I trust that you got something from this podcast. Remember, fear and how we respond to it is a learned behavior, which means you can absolutely move through it. It may take time and it will take effort, but to be who you were designed to be is the ultimate goal. And you were designed for amazing things, including happiness. I believe that every single woman has the power to unlock their true potential, and with the right guidance and support, they can confidently step into their greatness and create the life they desire. As a coach and mentor, I am absolutely committed to helping women realize their dreams and live life on their own terms. If you are a woman who longs to live a life that aligns with your values and passions, but you feel weighed down by the fear of judgment and expectations of others, I am here for you. I'm here to help. Together, you and I, we will work towards uncovering the version of yourself that has been hidden beneath the layers of shoulds and societal norms. Let's put an end to it now, ladies. All right. Again, thank you so much for being here with me today. I do really appreciate it. I look forward to talking to you next time.